warrant a drug dog literally nearby. I've seen it where an officer pulls someone over to give them a traffic ticket, which many times they don't even write the traffic ticket. They just use that as the basis to pull them over. And then there will literally be a drug dog 30 seconds away, and they're using anything they can as a basis to then be able to search that vehicle or run the drug dog around.
Then they got a confidential informant
that
done told on you.
minutes as we look at this.
So as soon as you left where you left, they was already on your ass. See, police be on some bullshit. That's why I said, hell, y'all supposed to be out here protecting and serving. Y'all just trying to hate on the motherfucker busting his moves. Hell, you gotta keep it popping though. Shit. That's why shit's becoming legal, so they can't say as much to us these days. Well, Mr. Harper, your business is kind of synonymous. I like saying synonymous with drug dealing and growing weed. Nah, it's deep water cultivating, sir. You can grow over 8,000 fucking plants in deep water culture. Is marijuana one of them? You're damn right.
First of all, what are some of the steps you should take if you find yourself being pulled over and maybe that's the situation, you've done nothing wrong? Number one, when an officer comes up and approaches you, roll down your window slightly, hand them what's required in your state. Most of the time that's going to be certainly your driver's license. That's normally required. And in many states, you're going to be required to provide registration of your vehicle. Why? Because if you don't provide proof of registration, that's actually a traffic offense. That can be a basis for the officer to now search anyway.
Nah, in Missouri, all thing they want is proof of insurance.
You don't have proof of registration, that can be a basis for the officer to do more.
Fuck if you register the car.
But you don't have to engage in any conversation. The most important
That's why they
thing
pulled you over anyways. Your temp tag was out 6 months ago.
And just basically don't open
Hey, shouts out to the people with temp tags from 2 years ago.
Don't engage in any small talk. I know this is hard.
Said I bought the car 2 years ago, still ain't got a tag.
Feel nervous. The officer will walk up and start speaking to you, and you'll feel like you have to just continue to talk. This is actually what the officers are trained to do. If they can get you to talk more and more and more, they're allowed to now be able to establish that they don't like either your body language, or they feel like you were holding something back, or they can use that as a basis now to establish probable cause potentially to search your vehicle. So one of the things you can do is don't engage in any small talk. And if the officer starts asking you a number of direct questions, trying to aggressively get you to engage in conversation or ask where you're coming from, where you're going, what are you doing, what's in your car, remember, you can exercise your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, but you must actually say it. There's case law out there that if you just remain silent without actually exercising that right, the officer can actually use your silence against you. I actually have a video that I covered this issue. This is really important to remember. So, what do you say? Officer, I exercise my right to remain silent and I refuse to answer any other questions. That's number two. Number three, ask the officer if you are free to leave. Understand how the way cops work. A lot of times what they're going to do is they're going to walk up to you and they're going to start speaking to you. They'll grab your driver's license, your registration. They'll go run to see if you have any warrants, and then they'll walk back up to you and start this small talk. But what they're really going to be doing is trying to delay as long as they can. If they're going to claim they smell the whiff of pot coming from your car, they're also likely going to call for a drug dog to come out because they're going to want to do a more thorough search. Or even if they don't smell, let's say they don't smell pot at all, and they don't use that as an excuse, they're going to want to prolong this so they can have the drug dog show up. So one of the things that's really important for you to do is to ask, officer, am I free to leave? This will force the officer to answer one way or the other. If he answers no, then now you have made it clear you wish to leave and you're asking if you are free to leave. And now the clock has definitely been going and starting here because an officer is not allowed to prolong a traffic stop any longer than is necessary in order to write you that ticket. This is established Supreme Court
Write the ticket then, bitch.
So by doing this,
I got shit to do.
Officer know you
don't take 45 minutes to be in and out.
You're helping your attorney. You're helping your attorney so that in the future, if this becomes a prolonged traffic stop that then leads to a search, that leads to an arrest, your actual attorney can file a motion to suppress to potentially get the entire thing thrown out in court. Okay, so that is a critical point. Officer, am I free to leave? If he says yes, politely roll up your window and drive away. If he says no, officer, at this time I exercise my right to remain silent. I refuse to answer any questions. And then hold pat. Finally, if you know there is no odor of marijuana and the police